Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Keeping Up with the Taylorians.
For today's episode, we are super pumped up to have with us Taylor's Bangladesh Society as our guest speakers to talk all and everything about the Language Movement Day, also known as the International Mother Language Day. So without further ado, let me introduce myself and probably the languages that I speak to get the ball rolling. So my name is Thaarishya and I'm studying Bachelor's of Business in Finance and Economics. As for the languages I speak, it's not that extensive, but I can speak my native language, which is Bahasa Melayu, English, and also Tamil, because the Desi origins. And I'll be representing Taylor's University Student Council, and I'll be your moderator for today's session alongside Syeda.
Hi everyone, I'm 𝐄𝐊𝐷𝐿, and I'm a member of Campus Integrations in Taylor's Student Council. I'm doing my bachelor's in biomedical science, and currently I'm in my second year. So I can speak 4 languages, that is Bangla, English, Urdu, and Hindi. Today we have with us 2 special speakers from Taylor's Bangladesh Student Society. Maybe you guys could introduce yourself and cue in the languages you can speak, starting from Aswad.
Yeah, sure. My name is Aswad and Rafayet. I'm the president of Bangladesh Society. I'm actually pursuing a degree in accounting and finance, and my third year is gonna start really soon, like the next month. For languages, unfortunately, I only know only 2, being Bangla, my mother tongue, and secondary language is English. But I'm from Chittagong, and we have our own dialect of a Bangla, which is called 𝐶𝐷𝐃. So I know that as well. So I think you can consider that as 3 languages.
Hello guys, my name is Rafayet. I am studying accounting and finance as well, and I'm about to commence my second year soon. And about the languages I speak, obviously other than my mother tongue Bangla, I speak English and I speak a bit of Urdu and Hindi. So I guess 3 languages.
So I guess now we know really the importance of speaking many languages, because like on average, all of us can speak more than 3 languages, and that's really impressive. Because like I know in many countries, some people just only speak English. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that we actually do speak a lot of languages. So now that we've got the introduction session out of the way, we could dive right into the topic of today's podcast session, being the Language Movement Day. So I'm pretty sure many of us know that 21st of February is known as the International Mother Language Day. But little do any of us actually know that this day, or this specific date that is celebrated on every 21st of February every year, actually originated from Bangladesh. And they are the ones who originated this movement called the Language Movement Day. So as a Malaysian perspective, I definitely didn't know. I just thought that it was an International Mother Language Day to celebrate the diverse languages spoken around the world. So maybe Syeda, you could fill me in on like how, as a Bangladesh perspective yourself, yeah.
So when this incident occurred, the Language Movement Day, Bangladesh was not Bangladesh, but it was part of Pakistan. It was West Pakistan. So the general government announced that Urdu will be the only language, state language of Pakistan, but the Bengali speakers protested it because they wanted to be able to speak in their mother tongue. So on the 21st of February, there was a protest by the students of Dhaka University. They all protested for their mother tongue. But the government called a hartal on that day, and so the policemen, to scare the crowd, first blank fired, but when they could not control the crowd, they fired in the crowd. And there, many students like Salam, Barkod, Rafiq, Shofur, and Jaffar died, and hundreds were injured. The movement gained momentum, and hence Bangla was recognized as one of the state languages of Pakistan.
I also want to add something little to what she said. Basically, many people do not actually know this. It's basically, the language movement actually, I think, occurred in the year 1952, if I'm not wrong. But we actually gained our independence after 20 years, which was 1971, and it was a 9 months war. So yeah, there's a 20 years gap between.
Thank you, Syeda, for filling us in with the history. But there is something I would mention to this part that this day is recognized as International Mother Language Day, but in 1952, when the protests were ongoing, a monument was built. It was named the Shahid Minar. We Bangladeshis are pretty familiar with it, but it's not really, recognized worldwide that. And it's a beautiful piece of architecture. As we speak of that monument, like even till this date, every 21st February, everyone go there to commemorate that day. It's a very special day for us Bangladeshis because we are one of the first countries to shed blood for the sake of speaking their mother language. And we are really proud of this. So we celebrate this day
on the every 21st of February. Okay, that makes sense because I knew that it was an international Mother Language Day, but actually I don't really know what is done on this date. I know that there is this date created, for us to recognize and appreciate the diverse language, but I don't think there is anything done much back in Malaysia. So maybe you guys could fill me in on what is done back in Bangladesh on every 21st of February.
Yeah, sure. I think it differs for every city in Bangladesh. Like for me, I'm in Chittagong, and the Shahid Minar is actually in Dhaka. So we don't actually have access to the Shahid Minars because it's really far away for us. So what we do, I think this thing everyone follows is basically we wear the color black and white. We wear Punjabi saris in black and white because this is a day of mourning and this color signifies this. And other than that, we try to do everything related to the Bengali culture. For instance, food, right? We actually even eat a Western style of food as well, right? But on this very day, we avoid anything Western. We just go all in for the Bengali traditions. So yeah, the food we are in Chittagong, which we eat, is actually we call it porta, and it's basically spicy mashed up vegetables and various stuff. And other than that, we go out, and because we don't have access to the Shahid Minar in Chittagong, so we have proxy Shahid Minars, which they placed in popular areas. We go there, we put roses or any flower to show our respect, and as well as we recite the Ekusher Gan, which is the Amar Bhai Rokter Agam Ekushe February.
Do you mind reciting Ekushe February phrase for me, or probably translating it?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm gonna try to sing the first 2 lines, but don't judge me because I'm not a good singer. But I'm gonna try my best. Okay, the song starts like this. Okay. Amar bhaiyer rokter agam ekushe February ami ki bhulite pari. Basically, this my brother, he shed his blood on this day of the 21st Feb. How can I forget this?
That's really interesting, and it just reminded me of the national anthem of Malaysia, which also goes by Negaraku Tanah Tumpahnya Darahku, which translates to "Oh my country, the place where my blood shed." Yeah, something like that. So it's really interesting that how it correlates, and definitely very meaningful meaning behind the lyrics.
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
As I was saying, in Dhaka, it is a bit different though because the central Shahid Minar, it's in Dhaka, and the protests originated from Dhaka University. That's where the monument was initially built, and the design we see today isn't the first version of it which was made, because initially another model was made by the demonstrators back then in 52, but they were destroyed somehow during the protest, and then later on we came up with a better monument. And moving on to that, in Dhaka, usually we have programs in schools and all. But for me, it was special because in my childhood, for me, it was more of a regular. With my grandparents, I have to wake up early, wear Punjabi. It was more of a, though it's a morning day, the flag stays half-mast on 21st February in Bangladesh. But it's more of a festive season. Everyone's wearing black and white. They usually wear saris and Punjabis. So it looks very festive out there. Everyone having flowers. They carry them to the monument to pay tributes. So until this day, we celebrate and glorify the fact that we fought to speak our mother tongue.
I think that's indeed very remarkable.
I think for me, Ekushe February was all about my school, because we always had programs related to 21 February. So we went to school wearing black and white, and there were singing programs and recitation programs and people dancing. We also had art exhibitions and art competitions held in our school. So I always liked participating in them because it brought a pride inside me that we are the only nation to fight for our language. Yeah.
I think that's really, really unique because like it's common for people to shed blood and tears for wars, but like this was a war to fight the mother language. So that's like, wow. But yeah, it's actually very unique that Bangladesh was the first country which initiated the idea of celebrating the International Mother Language Day. And later on, very much later on, only in the 2002, it was recognized by the United Nations that 21st of February for every year would be observed as the International Mother Language Day. And the aim behind this day is to promote linguistic and cultural diversity as well as multilingualism.
Actually, the theme of the International Mother Language Day this year is fostering multilingualism for inclusion in education and society. It also recognizes that languages and multilingualism can advance inclusion, and the Sustainable Development Goals focus on leaving no one behind.
I think like this is actually very important because let's just think about it, all right? I think right now, like we want to be united as people, right? But there's a lot of difficulties in order to make this happen, right? Because like we are from different race, from different culture, different country, right? But if you think about it, we share one common thing, which is a language, right? So yeah, like I think this day is very important because like language, it creates that communication so that we are able to express ourselves, right? Like even today, like we are able to talk to each other because we know the common language, which is English, right? So I think this day is very important because it allows us to showcase our language as well as get to know about other languages, and it just creates better communication. And when communication is better, I think we are more united as people.
In that part, I would say apart from communication, a language carries a heritage with it. As a language is being used, it reforms over the years. Pieces of literature, they can tell you, like, they are a proof of history. Even this day, ancient scriptures are sold for millions. Why? Because they carry a heritage, a culture, a history. They tell us how people were back at that time. So yeah, languages are very important. Not just that, among that, the United Nations has mentioned that in every 2 weeks, a language dies, where it takes away the heritage and culture of a whole race or a tribe or people who used to speak it. And language is very important to everyone. A child, the first words he says. So from that, everyone has an emotional space with language, an emotional connection.
True. I think the fact that United Nations, after the data history of how often languages are lost along the way as we move forward, I think that's when they actually realized that they should celebrate this and make us and the rest know the importance of preserving our language so that it doesn't get endangered, as there is already so many languages endangered throughout the years. So I think as a future generation, whatever that is left, we should actually try to preserve it. And I think that's why it's very important to celebrate the 21st of February for each year. So maybe someone could fill me in on probably the origins of the Bangla language.
Speaking of Bangla is a pretty ancient language, and it's a pretty rich language with culture and all. And one fun fact before I start about the history, if you guys Google the sweetest language in the world, the result will be Bengali.
Okay, give me a second. I think I'll just make it real quick. Indeed, I mean, it's written here that according to the UNESCO survey, Bengali is the sweetest language, has been voted for the sweetest language around the world. Wow, that's
yeah.
Now I know why I have a lot of Bangladeshis, because as friends.
We're sweet.
Yeah, because you guys are really sweet and like, you probably buy me with your sweetness.
Moving on to the history of Bangla. As of today, Bangla is spoken by around 250 million people around the world. The traces of Bangla can be found around until 3500 BC. And it is believed that Bangla it is a branch of the Indo-European language family. Though there are arguments that Sanskrit is the origin of Bangla, but there are linguists and scholars who believe Bangla was derived from Indo-Aryan languages. About the history of Bangla, in short, we can say there were 3 stages, the early, middle, and the modern one. The early stage, it is more of a dark era for us, where around 650 AD, Sanskrit was mostly used by priests and scholars for their literary works. But other than that, the traces of literature or poems, something like that, it's hard to find. But when the Middle Age began in the 16th century, Mughals took over Bangladesh. That region, they brought over their rich Persian language and culture with them. Alongside that, as people got more sophisticated, they developed a taste for art and culture as well. And in this era, we can find some good writings and some mentionable literary works. But the brightest and the best era, we can say, is more of the modern era, where we have the Nobel laureate Bengali polymath Rabindranath Tagore. He is the composer of our national anthem as well. And alongside that, there is Begum Rokeya, who was a feminist. And back in those early days, women's rights were not within the reach. And her movements, her literature work, that got a huge snowball rolling, which gradually changed the whole scenario. And alongside that, we have a national poet, Qazi Nazrul Islam, whose works are mostly rebellious, and his works were used, his poems and songs were used in 1971 during the Liberation War as war cries and to motivate the soldiers.
That's a really extensive history for the language of Bangla, which makes sense because, it was originated very long back. It's very hard to pinpoint the exact date, just like Tamil as well. The language has been here for years and years. It's really uncountable of how long it has been here. As for the Bahasa Melayu, which is in first language in Malaysia, it's also a mixture of Sanskrit and Arabic language. It was not originated that long back like Bangla and Tamil. But what I would like to pinpoint here is that the fact that Bangla is actually voted for the sweetest language. Wow. Because I always thought it could be something like French or Spanish, because those kind of languages are very, melodious and stuff like that. But wow, it's actually Bangla. Now it makes sense that why I have so many Bangladeshi friends. To begin with, Taylors, every year we have a lot of Bangladeshis coming in as students from international. But yeah, now it makes sense why I have a lot of Bangladeshi friends, because you guys are really, really sweet people.
You should start learn how to speak Bangla.
Okay, I
join us in the conversation,
Okay, yeah, I think that would be a dream come true, because it'll be easier to make friends, like Bangladeshi friends later on, if I can speak their language.
It's a part. You know the sweetest language in the world.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a really big flex that you guys actually are known for having the sweetest language. I mean, if I was from that country, I would flex that fact that my country has the sweetest language.
Then let me try flexing here. Since we have 3 Bengali speaking people here, let's take their opinions on the sweetest words in their mother tongue.
I think that's very interesting. Go ahead, guys.
What do you think, Aswad?
I'm thinking.
I think the sweetest word would be ma. That is mother in Bengali. So I think that is the sweetest word to me.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
I also agree with that because after we were born, I think this is the first word all babies say, right? In Bangladeshi babies, right? They say ma. So I think this is the sweetest word.
I think for Tamils, we call it, we call our mom as amma. And you guys just use ma, is it?
No, we also use amma, but Yeah, we use a lot
Oh.
of things. Ammu, amma, ma.
Well, you know, ma is the sweetest version
Yeah.
of
Sweetest
the word
version.
you can say.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Rafayet? What do you
I
think
would
is the
agree
sweetest?
because maybe as a kid, that was the first word I said. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is. Maybe it could be pa. I mean, like, how do you guys call your father? Because, like, for Tamils, we say appa.
Baba.
Is it the-
We say Baba. Yeah.
Oh,
I call mine Appu, so yeah.
oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah, it's pretty
okay,
hard.
okay.
Yeah.
Probably now we'll get into the game session, which is a very easy game. All we have to do is list down the amount of languages that you can think of right in your head at the moment now. So we'll like go in turn. So I will say a language spoken, and then Syeda will say another one, and it goes in turn. And who can't continue the line, later on there will be a punishment waiting for them. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Fingers
then-
crossed. Tharisha for the punishment.
I don't want to be punished because the last podcast session, our moderators got punished as well because they lost the game. So let's try now to not lose. Okay, I don't want to lose.
Keep the streak.
Okay, I don't want to keep the streak. Let me start. Okay, I'll start with English.
Bangla.
Hindi, Urdu,
Hindi,
Malayalam,
Chinese.
Portuguese,
French,
Hokkien,
Marathi.
Dutch,
Italian,
Spanish,
Gujarati.
Ukrainian,
Japanese,
Arabic,
Korean.
German,
Chinese. Did we say Chinese?
yes,
They already said
Mandarin?
that.
yes. Okay, so what was it? Oh my god, thank god I didn't lose for this section.
Oh,
Okay.
just one more turn.
Yes, that was so good. Okay, Rafayet, thank you. Thank you for not keeping my streak anymore. So as for the punishment, you'll have to speak a sentence using the last language mentioned. What language did you mention as what?
German.
Oh my god, yeah. So you'll have
Best
to
of
speak.
luck.
I'll have a hard time today.
Best
Yeah.
of luck.
So you'll have to say, hello, my name is Rafayet and I am studying in Taylor's University. So yeah, take your phone, translate it from English to German, and let's see how we can wing it.
Tharisha, before we proceed, you should thank me, you know.
Thank you for what?
I saved you from the punishment.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So bad the streak is broken.
Because, I don't want to butcher any language. So yes, let's just leave the floor to Rafayet.
Main name, is it Rafayet? I'm having a hard time to pronounce it, so if there is any problem, you guys are taking me to the dentist. Me studiere be Taylors. Anything else I have to say?
Yeah. I mean, have a nice day. Probably you could try.
Nen Tagno. And I tried searching Taylor's Rocks, but it comes up Taylor's Rocks.
Oh
Either
my
ways,
God.
in every language.
Okay. That was okay. That was pretty good. I mean, not that bad. Yay. Thank you for being a good sport. And okay, let's move on to our next section. During this section, since we have talked all about the Language Movement Day, hopefully we have filled in our crowd with like how the date originated and the fact how Bangladesh plays such an important role to the creation of this date. So maybe we can move into the next part of the section, which is to speak about Taylor's Bangladesh Society, okay? I'm pretty sure the society has been here for a very long time and we have the president here together with us. So maybe you guys could like unwind with us and tell like the past events done by the club or probably the future events and fill the viewers in.
Yeah, as Tharisha said, yeah, Bangladesh Society has been here for a long time, but unfortunately, like I don't think most people know about this club or even knew this club existed. And this is because like my predecessors, they had actually a very hard time managing this club and keeping it active. So by the time like I got my turn, basically there was nobody in the club, everyone left. So like I got a club, but nobody was in it. So it was very hard for me because I had to build the whole thing up from scratch, right? So the first thing I did was basically like all my Bangladeshi friends, right? I just contacted them and I asked them like, hey, I'm just making a society, like I'm rebranding the society, like do you want to join? And thankfully, my good friend of mine, and I'll shout out to him as well, is Shamsuddin Yusuf. He's my VP and also a good friend, and he has been with me since the first day to now. And yeah, like without him, I don't think like it would have been very hard for me to manage this whole thing alone. And other than that, another special shout out to Rafayet, then Faizan, Rosella, just to name. They have been working really, really hard, and like without their effort, like to be honest, like all our events, like it would be like nothing, you know. Like it's all because of them, and like without them, like I don't know what we would have done. So if I want to talk about like our past events, basically we kind of rebranded on the October, and we actually did 4 events. The first being a welcoming event where we welcomed all the members who just joined the society. And after that, we did IGN, which is basically International Game Night. I think we did this with collaboration with TISS. And after that, we did ECNS, which is basically orientation for the freshies. And then lastly, which was a very good hit, was our event, which we called the International Mother Language Day. This actually, like we actually did this event last week, and I think Rafael can brief us something about this.
As I proceed for the event, like for us audience, we generally see the event outside the final output. But even for this podcast, like, you know, like a team has been dedicated for a week at least, 10 days to a week at least. So that rush when we had before event, for me personally, that's the fun part. You know, everyone's running around, they're going crazy. You have like 5 minutes, well, it's gonna start. You have this left, that rush, that gives us all energy. And as Aswad said, thank you to him and Yusuf especially for guiding us. Like we had no ideas when we joined the club. There was no members, nothing, as he said. So, you know, like building the whole thing from the scratch, it takes a lot more effort. And from our first event to the last event we had today, like International Mother Language Day, it was a hit, I can say. Like we collaborated with a few more societies, including the Tradisi Society, the African Society, and then the Pakistan Society was there. So it was more of a workshop. We all spoke and shared like how our languages originated. We spoke about the history of Mother Language Day. We urged everyone, you know, about the importance of languages. And alongside that, we also had fun parts because we have to tell you we are no boring people. So yeah, in our events, we do have like, we had a karaoke session where Wasik and Labon, both of them performed, I hope. Thaarishya, you were there in the event, so...
Yes, definitely. I really had fun. And that event was the day that I actually knew that the Language Movement Day originated from Bangladesh. So that was the day. It was very educational. And at the same time, as Rafayet mentioned, it was fun. Rafayet was the MC, so big shout out to him. He did a really great job during the event, kept us all entertained throughout the, I believe it was around 1 hour, 30 plus minutes. Yeah. And we ended with a super good karaoke session. It was really good, guys.
So about International Mother Language Day, that is where we wrapped up. But we had like the most fun part was the game session where we had tongue twisters from every language. And that session, I guess if you guys can go, you can find videos of our past events in our Instagram page. You'll see it was really fun.
True. As a Malaysian perspective, I can tell that, you know, international students coming all the way very far from their country to Malaysia, it's going to be very challenging if it's your first time. So societies like this are actually your first move where you should actually be in, because they will actually indeed help you a lot, because you will meet people of your same kind, people from your same country, and they will help you in your baby steps through university. So I feel that it's very important for us to always be supportive towards clubs like this or societies like this. And thank you so much, Sailors Bangladesh Society, for always being so welcoming and just very nice in general, you know. I think as a Malaysian, I can personally relate or closely relate to your tagline, which says that you're home away from home. I think that's very sentimental and it's just very nice. I mean, like the society itself reflects your home away from home.
I can relate and I can assure that Bangladeshis are so welcoming, because when I first came to Taylor's, I didn't even know Aswad, but he helped me move in. So I think that's how we know how welcoming we are as Bangladeshis.
Who would have known, like when Syeda was here 2 years back, Aswad helped her to move in. And now here we are, 2 years later, having our first podcast together. It's indeed remarkable.
It's not just about the society and helping them out. As you mentioned, it's your home away from home. Like most of us either live in US or Taylor area, so even if we don't have any events or work, you will find all of us casually chilling. If you find us, you'll find the whole group together. They will be together chilling at some place.
That's where I like to be.
Yeah.
Or ordering Bengali food and having it together.
Oh my god, khichuri. Is it khichuri? Give me
Khichuri
one.
and beef bhuna. Khichuri and beef bhuna.
Oh my
Yes.
god, so good.
Yeah, so
I think
as I
that's
was
like
saying,
my first Bengali food that I've ever had, and I fell in love with it instantly. So now whenever anyone mentions it, I'm like, okay, I want khichuri.
you should try kachi too,
Okay, another time, definitely. I'll add it to my list.
for sure.
Here comes the end of the episode of Keeping Up with the Taylorians podcast. Before wrapping up, I would leave the floor to Taylor's Bangladesh Student Society to give their last few words to our viewers, and go ahead and promote your club handles.
First, I want to thank the Student Council for inviting us for this podcast. And I also want to talk about an upcoming event, which is we are gonna host. I think at the end of March or on the first week of April. So basically, it's more like an online competition, which we are calling Just for Laughs. So actually, you don't have to be exclusively a Bangladeshi to be in this competition. It's actually open for all Taylorians. So the thing which you have to do is basically you have to make a funny video, a creative funny video which is related to our culture. If you do that and if you win, you get 100 ringgit. So and for getting more information about this, you should follow our Instagram handle, which is tailors.tbss. Yeah, just join us, and if you're a Bengali, you can even find the registration link there, and we'll add you in and welcome you to our family.
To that, I would say all the Taylorians are welcome to be a part of Bangladesh society, because over here we are all for inclusion. And I guess Thaarishya, other than anyone else, would agree, because I guess she has been there for all of our events, right?
Yeah, she has been.
Share your insights.
Thaarishya was actually our guest in our first event, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I was so honored to be there. I was a guest speaker there. But yeah, so far there's been around 4 events that I've attended, and all was done this year, right? Or late last year. So I think
late last year and this year.
Yeah, late last year to this year. So I think the club has grown tremendously since day one, and I'm very happy to see it. Baby steps till where you guys are now.
2 days back, we posted our first promotional post, and we asked the Taylorians to ask questions about the Taylors Bangladesh Society. Here are some of the questions. How do you tackle hurdles as an international society during this pandemic? I mean, it must be very difficult as all the members are not there present in Malaysia.
Yeah, it's actually a very interesting question, because this was a very big challenge for us since last year, because we just rebranded our society and the pandemic hit at the same time. So for us, at first, it was very difficult to even get members, because everyone is not physically here. They're in Bangladesh, or some of them are in Malaysia. So since they're not physically here, it's very hard to reach out to them, because we have to do it via using WhatsApp or any other handle. So it's actually very difficult to reach out to people, I guess. But other than that, for a cultural society, doing events online is also a very big problem, because sometimes you want to showcase some kind of talent show, right? Or karaoke or something, right? Doing that physically is way better than do it on an online basis, right? Because on the online, it gets a little bit boring, because we have to add so many stuff, right? But when you do it physically, I think it's better. But because of my good team, including Rafayet, Rotella, and Faisal, which I've said before, and also the rest of the team, everyone. So because of them and their hard work and their creative ideas, right, we just made a lot of interesting ideas. For example, International Language Day, right? So we just, because we don't want it to be like very boring and very like, because it's a workshop, we have to make it a little bit informative, but at the same time, we wanted to make it a little bit fun as well. So then we all gathered and we got this idea that we can even include karaoke session, because in this karaoke session, we are actually promoting our language as well, right? The tongue twisters, right? All the games, right? So I guess like having a good team, fortunately, like having a good team at this pandemic situation, I think that allowed us to perform so well.
The fun part about the karaoke, like since Aswad is here, he can share. On the day of the event is at the evening. At around 12:30 or 1, I call Aswad, how about we include singers?
Yeah. So it was like very sudden. And then, like we kind of did it in the last minute. I think like even 5 minutes before we started the event, we were actually doing trials with the singers.
I mean, that's such a desi thing, I would say. Like all Indians, just good at last minute stuff.
Exactly. Yep. Like what he said, the support we received from the whole team and the guidance we received from our seniors especially, like, all the graphics work or all the media work you see in our social media, it's all done from Bangladesh. So it's the communication of the team that makes us easygoing. And the pandemic, personally, it has been hard for me as well. Like I landed here a day before the lockdown. I landed in Malaysia on 17th, and from 18th, it was full on MCO. Back then, on my first day, I barely had a SIM card. These friends from Bangladesh, though we are in the society now, but back then, they were just my friends and they helped me out. So yeah, like we are a team, like even on and off the field.
True.
So that is what matters at the end of the
day. Agree. It's definitely your home away from home, and it's the community that always smiles back, right?
It does.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we have another question that was from the poll in the IG story, which says that probably you guys could describe Bangladesh in 3 words.
Bangladesh in 3 words, I would say we are grand, we are fun, and though it's not one word, we are cricket lovers. Cricket is mad in Bangladesh. Everyone loves it. Bangladesh playing by the street sides, there is one TV, there will be like 50-60 people watching the game. So yeah.
Yes, I agree on that. I mean, there would be traffic because of people watching cricket matches, especially between India and Bangladesh or Pakistan and Bangladesh. Yeah.
For me, I think the 3 words are hardworking, passionate, and ambitious. Because if you think about it, we Bangladeshis are very determined, and whatever we want, we achieve it. We just need the motivation, So I think, this 3 words describe us perfectly.
That's very nice. What about you, Syeda?
I would say we are patriotic because we relate very much to our independence and our mother tongue. And we are very welcoming because...
you stole my word!
You should visit Bangladesh and see how we treat the foreigners. And we are very down to earth, I guess. Yeah.
Agree. I can personally relate because when I read this question myself, my first answer was welcoming. Because that's how I always feel around any Bangladeshi friends of mine. It's always welcoming. Second, they are very easygoing, which makes it very easy for any Malaysians to be friends with Bangladeshis because they're very easygoing. They don't have high demands or anything, just be their friend, just be genuine. So for me, the 3 words would be welcoming, easygoing, and fun. It's always a fun time around the Bangladeshis, that I can assure you. Thank you, Aswad and Rafayet, for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have such energetic guests with us for our session today. And we're definitely looking forward to more future collaboration, especially between Taylor's University Student Council and Taylor's Bangladesh Society.
To our listeners, to follow our Instagram page at Taylor's Uni SC and get yourself updated on events, news, and activities happening in Taylor's. You can also find us on Facebook. Just type in Taylor's University Student Council and catch up on all our future podcast episodes and events.
And make sure you do like, subscribe, and share. share this content to everyone around you. Oh my God, Rafayet is already using his mask. Look at that. And guys, if you are representing Taylor's Bangladesh Society, leave a comment saying that you are from Bangladesh, or put your Bangladesh flag there so that we know that you are from TBSS. And if you are Malaysian and you enjoyed this episode, also give us a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you turn on the post notification. That's all for our podcast today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back with more episodes on keeping up with the Taylorians.
Shikroi.
Agar.
Dekha.
Okay.
Till then, stay safe, stay hydrated, and bye!
Wear masks.